Hi, it's me, Limbus Company, February 21st. We've got some new stuff to check out, and by some I mean quite a bit. Today was the start of... Okay, or don't. Yield my flesh to claim their bones event. And of course there are new IDs in this event. And I do mean plural. There are 4 new IDs. As you can see, I did a little bit of grinding. And by a little bit, I mean I did 1 mirror dungeon hard. And that was all I needed to do to get enough scabbards to afford the new ID in the rewards. And so I'm just gonna get that right away. We've got a Blade Lineage Salsu Don Quixote.
주도라니 본인은 그런 건 잘 모르네만. 아, 이거 왜 이렇게 쓴가?
There's also the anniversary event, which is just a free pull a day until the end where you get stuff. I don't know when you get the big upgrade thing that they advertised, but that's not that big of a deal. So, one thread. We've got 3 other new IDs. We've got Blade Lineage Mentor Merceau, who is like the big pull from this event. Blade Lineage Salsu Faust, which is my personal favorite out of the 3, just for judging by the introductory cards that they posted on Twitter. And Kurakumo Gregor, which is neat. Kurakumo is a thing that needed more representation, especially since Blade Lineage is probably done. All of these are from the same mirror world as the old Blade Lineage and Kurokuma stuff that we had at launch. So, we're going to pull for them. And we're going to pull for them because I want to. And by that I mean... That was fast. Okay. I'm pulling for them because I don't actually have enough crates to shard all of them and having crates left over. So I'm going to pull at least one of these, and then if we don't get the other one within, like, let's say 50 pulls, I'll just shard the other one, because that's a good idea, right? Also, yeah, they're in the Season 3 banner, so I'm just going to use my Season 3 banner ticket. Because there's no point in really saving it anyways. Oh, wow. Alright. I'm still gonna use at least my free pulls on the banner. This is definitely the coolest ID out of the new bunch. And you'll see why when I actually get to it. I'm gonna shard him. I haven't actually looked at any of them. God, he's so cool. I mean, I have things to say about this ID, but we're gonna do him last, because reasons. Starting with the odd guy out. Because, yeah, he doesn't fit with the other 3. You know what's cool about alcohol? It makes people honest. It kills your liver, makes you sloppy. Lots of downsides, sure, but I gotta say, it's got its uses. If you're part of a syndicate, I mean, if you survive long enough in a syndicate, that is, you'll be getting some underlings. 3, 4 underlings, easily manageable. I can figure them out after chatting and working with them a few times. But once you start getting 10 or more underlings, it gets a bit hard to manage. They're supposed to be my eyes and ears, hands and feet, right? I don't want any bad apples in them. In any of that. One bad apple could mess everything up, which means that I still gotta remain hands-on, which is as annoying as hell. And that, my friends, is when alcohol comes in useful. And if I act like I just downed a whole ass barrel, they'll start to think, oh man, I got assigned to some brainless drunk as my captain. Especially our new recruits, who've never seen me sober. That's when they start to let some things slip. Things that let me know who they really are. Pretty useful, huh? This alcohol. Now, come on, pour me some liquor already. Seriously, Captain? You should have saved that speech for when the recruits ain't around. They're all here, you know. They are? It's been about 30 minutes since the child started his slurring rant. His face was flat against the table the entire time, of course. It was unclear whether the fact registered or not, as he continued to mumble at the poor subordinate who had the misfortune of sitting next to him. Listen up, boys and girls. Yes, sir! Just because our captain is a bit sloshed don't mean that he's got some common drunkard, you hear that? Answers. Yes, sir, of course not. Aw, come on, man, you're making me blush. Just shut up and pour, okay? The subordinate's effort to bring back a semblance of dignity to this gathering was immediately dashed by the child's casual demeanor. He wished that the child would act with some gravitas for once, but that was probably a tall order for someone who holds these drinking parties pretty much every day. Well, he wasn't exactly worried for the child, though. He knew that the captain was the man who got the job done, regardless of his usual demeanor. The man who knew when to get serious. The subordinate knew that very, very well. He'd been at the child's side for a long enough time to know. He knew that the child had a bizarre power to get over any hangover or drunkenness with a single roar. Every time he was assigned a job, he'd stumble up, roar, and he'd be sober. No hangover or anything. Alrighty, boys. Are we ready to teach those hobos that dare to encroach on our territory a lesson? Yes, sir. Everyone's been whetting their blades in preparation for that very day, sir. Those blade lineage bastards have been a thorn in our side. Not just the Patriarch, but to you as well. Well, the Patriarch... Well, that's none of my business, but... all I want to do is test their mettle, see what they're made of. The child downed the liquor with a single gulp, then let out a satisfied sigh. The backstreet swordsmen rarely ever really swing their swords for the love of it, eh? I bet you're the same, you. You learned how to swing that thing around just so you can strut about puff chest and all, eh? Scare some people, make some cash. That's not it. That's not it. Come on. Kurakumo clan's got a severe lack of boys and girls who are serious about the way of the blade. Did you know that our predecessors in the Kurakumo clan used to train in a real martial arts style? Many of them, in fact. Just look at us now. The child scratched his hair, obviously annoyed. Who knows? Maybe everyone who was serious about the blade just got tired of working for the thumb. Maybe that's why they all left the clan to make their own dojos and stuff. Am I wrong? Captain, you can't talk about the thumb like that. What if... I know. And that's exactly where the Kuro clan's in the shit are right now. Making pocket money here and there, doing whatever they tell us to do, fighting whoever they tell us to fight. I joined up with the gang way too late for all the fun. But Kurakumo clan ain't a dojo. They've got syndicates and fixer offices for that kind of... Oh, are you telling me that I should just leave everything I've built up in the clan to be a rookie again in some other place? Man, seriously? But, oh, I have such high expectations for the upcoming battle. They're special. I just know it. That's exactly why I'm in a good mood. The child was speaking from his heart. He's always loved to wield his blade, and that's what led him to joining this syndicate. But he was disappointed to learn that not many members of the Kurakumo clan shared his passion. Still, his passion for the blade was what brought him into a relatively high position of the captain within the clan. He soon became one of the Kurakumo clan's best men for the upcoming strife. Oops. And that's why so many of his men showed him proper respect. The subordinate laughed a little to himself. Tonight, he'll try to restore the captain's drained dignity among his men back to full. The captain didn't deserve such derision. He really was an impressive swordsman. Hey, where's my drink? Yes, sir, coming right up. Along with restoring his liquor cup to full, thus came the day of the strife. The Kurakumo clan, the Blade lineage, it was a face-off. The tension between the two syndicates was palpable. That alleyway would soon be littered with blood and the flesh of many men. Watch out for that one in the bamboo hat, boys and girls. It was as though the child had transformed from a common drunk to a captain overnight. With a commanding voice, he points at a man on the other side of this standoff. Huh? Oh, that weird-hatted guy? Oh, his sword has seen much blood, and his eyes of a blade fiend. The henchmen begin murmuring fearfully at the captain's warning. But that's exactly what the child wanted. Now that his men will try to steer clear of that one, he'll get the hat man all to himself. Blade fiend or blunder fiend, I don't care. Let's split the clouds. The child shouted from the top of his lungs and unsheathed his blade. And that's how the strife began. My man Jin is going at it. He's fighting the other sinners, for the record. I keep saying chat, like you're in a chat right now. Okay, let's check him out. 180 HP, 4 to 6 speed, 41 defense level is all pretty average stuff. Weak to blunt, okay. Passives first. Dark Cloud Blade. Clash Win, inflict 1 bleed 3 times per turn. Very underwhelming, but this is exactly what Kurikumo Clan does, is inflict bleed. And honestly, this passive is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. And Dark Cloud Style. When one ally with the slowest speed hits an enemy with 10 plus bleed, inflict 1 offense level down next turn, 3 times per turn. This is a very good support passive. Like, really, really good. If you actually manage to hit 3 times with the slowest ally, which is pretty possible with most IDs, that's 1 clash power down for the enemy. That's significant. Defense first. It's just an 8 to 13 guard. That's pretty standard. Okay, Lenticular Rend, 5 to 10 with 1 coin, slash skill, sloth. On use if the target has 7 plus bleed, clash power plus 1. Clash win, inflict 1 bleed, and on hit, inflict 1 bleed count. Not a bad skill 1. It's kind of weak. 5 to 6 in a clash, turning into a 5 to 10 for damage is not fantastic, but it's a skill 1. Shadow Cloud, 4 to 14 blunt with 2 coins, lust skill. Coin 1, heads hit, inflict 2 bleed. Coin 2, on hit, inflict 1 offense level down. On hit, if the target has 10 plus bleed, inflict 1 attack power down next turn. The offense level down being current turn kinda stinks. He's fast enough that it can be helpful, but just 1 is not significant. The attack power down is going to be a more useful effect. You just need a team that can support the bleed. And then Shadow Cloud Shattercleave, which is a badass name for a skill. It's a 4 to 13, unfortunately, with slash gloom. On use if the target has 7 plus bleed, clash power plus 1. First 2 coins, inflict 1 offense level down current turn, and if the target has 7 plus bleed, inflict 1 offense level down next turn, which is more important. And then coin 3 has on hit, if target has 10 plus bleed, inflict 1 plus coin drop next turn, which is great. He is very much just an offensive debuffer. And so that's good. Kurikumo Clan still is kind of lagging behind in power in terms of all of the stuff that we've been getting poise-wise. Like, obviously they're not poise, but they're bleed-focused, and bleed isn't really focused on inflicting bleed right now. It's just focused on having IDs that have bleed. Because there's a lot of those. But this ID is like one of the first ones in a while that is focused on inflicting bleed with your team. And as a result, he's probably not going to be used a lot outside of the team, but he's still decent enough to be used overall. And that skill 2 is actually quite strong. That roll range is 4 to 14, which is not bad for a 2-star. At uptie 4, we're not going to uptie any of them right now. Skill 1 gets an additional clash power if the target has 7 plus bleeds. That's 5 to 12 in a clash, which is still not great. 5 to 15 on coin 2, and on use if the target has 7 plus bleed, clash power plus 2. So it can go up to 17 in a clash, which is significantly better. And then Shattercleave, if the target has 10 plus bleed, coin power plus 1. And all of the offense level becomes next turn, and coin 3 inflicts 3 bleed on heads hit before proccing this effect, which goes down to a 7 instead of a 10. So that's a cap of 16. That's still just okay for a skill 3, but it's neat. Guard becomes an 8 to 16, and the support passive is 7 bleed instead of 10. So that's just really cool. He's a very You'll want him in every bleed team. Now, whether or not he is a good ID outside of a bleed team is yet to be discovered, but he has a Lust block, and so we'll probably be forced to use him in Lust only when I eventually get around to doing that. I will have another one of those coming out soon. I wanted to wait until the Mirror Dungeon update to do it.
아, 바깥이 소란스러워서 말일세. 잠시 둘러보며 산책이나 해도 되겠는가?
Stop! Stop! The one seated opposite the child shouted indignantly. The child stopped just as she was about to chug the liquor straight from the bottle. Huh? Wherefore hast thou shouted so? We are no mere peasants, Don Quixote. We do not drink straight from the bottle. No? The other child, furious and frustrated, sighed deeply and shut her eyes with exasperation. They were members of the Blade lineage on the run, but as soon as they clear their names, as soon as they can return to S Corp, they will be taking jobs as personal guards of the high-ranking officials. And that meant that they would have to know high society etiquette by heart in case they had to join them for a meal. The other child's head began to fill with all kinds of terrible faux pas shenanigans that this child would put herself into. One must drink from a cup, not the bottle. That is the proper drinking etiquette. Once the cup is empty, and only when it is empty, do you refill it for another drink. Yet, wherefore? The child looks back with a genuinely puzzled expression. 'Tis more work of the same amount of alcohol, is it not? To drink from such a petite bowl. It is to prevent one from getting completely intoxicated while maintaining Whatever the other child said, it didn't register in this one. The child began chugging straight from the bottle. Perhaps it was the unexpected flavor, perhaps it was the piercing aroma, or maybe it was just that strong of a liquor. She immediately expelled the entirety of the bottle's contents like a fountain spray. It need not be said that the lecturing child was completely showered in whatever burst forth from the child's mouth. 'Twas not mine intention to. The flavor was simply too different from what I'd... 'Tis made of rice, is it not? I had thought with quite the confidence that its flavor would be no different from that of sikye or gamju. What did I say? What did I just say? I just told you to drink from the cup, little by little. If you had listened, this would not have happened. I mean, speak properly. Though we may be of the same rank, at this precise moment I am your instructor and superior. You will do well to address me as one. Yes, ma'am. First, you are wielding your chopsticks in a manner most improper. That's how I would wield chopsticks. I still don't have the coordination for that. This was merely to free my other hand for the bottle. Behold, this is how you properly wield a chopstick. Your sloppy technique is a disgrace. The other child's lecture continued without end. At this point, it was starting to sound like she was just unloading all of her frustrations on the child for the sake of unloading them, but it was the child's fault, no? Actions do have consequences. And I will leave it at that. Have you completed your reconnaissance? I have been waiting many days to hear your reports. I have discovered in my journeys about 5 different respectable locations in the back streets. That is good news indeed. Yet I must also inquire you about Kurakumo clan's... Worry not thy heart, I have spied on the Kurakumo clan curs as they dined. 'Tis in 2 days. The liquor in the other child's cup rippled as her hand twitched ever so slightly. Indeed, a match catches fire when struck. Yet we must survive, persist, and one day we will find ourselves an opportunity. That is what our mentor has told us. You have done well, Don Quixote, venturing so deep into enemy territory. A handful of them did notice my trail, but they have all been taken care of. The child held up her blade and spoke casually. It was spoken with the same casual cadence as though she had just swatted a few specks of dust from her cloak. Though they may not have started out as members of a syndicate wandering the back streets, the reason the members of Blade lineage have no hesitation in cutting people down is that they have all each been slayers for a long time, Blade lineage or not. Yet there is a difference. That the blade they used to wield in service of others is now for no one else but their own. Don Quixote moment. That is, in fact, how that would play out. Okay. We've got a Dawn. Dawn is, of course, weak in terms of stats. 4 to 8 speed, though. That's really fast. Okay. Starting with the passive, 2 Pride Resonance when this unit gains poise potency with its own skill or coin effects. Give 1 poise potency to 1 ally with no poise or with the least poise potency, 3 times max. That's cool. So this ID basically is Blade Lineage Yi Sang, but you want to have her in the party instead of on the bench. Nightly Stroll, 1 ally with the least poise gains 1 more poise potency when gaining poise potency with its own skill or coin effects, 2 times max, does not apply to allies without poise. So, Yi Sang gives count, this gives potency. Aside from that, I don't know why this is 2 times max. It's effectively the same passive. But either way, this is going to be helpful for poise teams, because you do want as much potency and count as you can get, and she gives potency to everybody no matter where she is. Alright, 2 to 10 evade. Okay. Skill 1, Draw of the Sword. Pierce Pride, 3 to 11 with 2 coins. On use, gain +2 poise count, and both are heads hit, gain 1 poise. So that's a really good skill 1. Just in general. And there's not much else to say about it. I wish it were Slash, though. Skill 2, Slash Envy, Blade Arc, 4 to 14 with 2 coins. On use, gain 2 poise count. Coin 1, on hit, gain 2 poise. Second coin, on crit, to 1 ally, either with no poise or with the least poise potency, apply 2 poise. So, we've got even more poise spreading support, which is neat. And skill 3, Fare Thee Well, is a Slash Sloth, 4 to 13. On use, gain 5 poise. First 2 coins deal 10% more damage. No, first 2 coins on heads hit will make the final coin deal 10% more damage. And then third coin on crit to 2 allies with either no poise or with the least poise, apply 2 poise count. That's sick. And after attack, if the target is defeated, gain 1 slash damage up next turn. 1 slash damage up? That'll only help with her skill 2, because skill 1, I mean, isn't slash. So there's that. Uptie 3, the kit is okay. That's a +4, actually. That's a +4 offense level. That's not bad. And that's it for her, at least in this case. At Uptie 4, at 5+ poise on self-coin, power +1, so it goes up to a 3 to 13 instead of a 3 to 11. And both on heads hits becomes on hits. Those are really good. Blade Arc gains 1 coin power at 7+ poise potency. So that becomes a 4 to 16, which is pretty good. And coin 2 gives an additional 2 poise if the ally is from Blade potency on the crit effect of the second coin. You really do just want to run all of Blade Lineage together, honestly. And then skill 3 gets 1 coin power at 10+ poise potency, which makes it a 4 to 16, just like Greg. We get 30% more damage on crit with the third coin, and the affected ally from Blade Lineage gets 2 more poise count, and you get 1 slash damage up to a random other ally in addition to her, which is actually super sick. That's a really good effect. Evade becomes a 3 to 13 with Pride. The cap for Collective Breathing becomes 5 instead of 2, and 1 ally with the least poise gains 2 more poise potency. Oh, an additional poise potency from the effect. The cap for 2 times max still applies, but you get 3 if you were to gain 1. That's cool. She is a hard poise support. So that's all I can say about that. And by very good, I mean she seems very good in Blade Lineage. And that's about all I can say about it. But there's actually another piece of Don Quixote that I want to go over, because I did not even touch it yet, and that is Wishing Cairn. It's an 18 to 27 blunt sloth ego. Costs 2 wrath, 2 sloth, and 1 pride, meaning it's perfectly fueled by middle Don. On hit, 4 bleed count. On hit, 5 tremor. Heads hit, 2 paralyze. That's current turn paralyze. Would be really good with the new Dawn, actually, because she's very fast. Corrosion is a 24 to 14 with 3 attack weight. Targets randomly. On crit, trigger Tremor Burst. On crit, inflict 6 bleed. Tails hit, trigger Tremor Burst. On hit, trigger Tremor Burst, then reduce target's Tremor count by 2. Lots of burst. Don Quixote, you have burst. It's true. And the passive, gain 2 poise and 2 poise count when defeating an enemy with bleed, 3 times per turn. Uptype 4, normal version of the skill gains 2 attack weight, and the corrosion inflicts 2 more bleed on crit. Not worth uptying to 4, I don't think.
오늘은 건물을 펼치기 좋은 밤입니다. 달을 먹은 칼날 끝에서 피어나는 꽃놀이가 절정이죠. 꽃놀이는 어떠신지?
The world is abound with things of beauty. The scattering moonlight, the blooming red plum blossoms. Among all that is beautiful in the world, Faust considers these 2 the finest of them all. Oh, we're talking in first person again. Okay. Faust is confident that she has read nearly every book in existence. No knowledge may escape Faust's grasp. Even still, to me, nothing else comes close to these 2. Regardless, I am okay. I can create new things with the strokes of my brush, put my thoughts to paper. We are to leave this home behind soon. S-Corp can no longer be redeemed. The deluge of corruption pouring from the headwaters and perverting every strand of the waterways of this river cannot be stemmed. We are but scholars of the martial arts. We cannot be a levee, no, let alone a dam to stop that flow. Yet, there are virtuous ones who seek to purify the rivers of these putrefacients. Putrefactions? I didn't know that was a word. We, or at least our mentor, felt that we must help them. It may have been his personal sense of justice. Perhaps it was his own way of providing us with the last bastion to save our homeland. I have not inquired him, for he is a man of few words. I suppose his intentions behind this action matters not when we have already failed. We could not stop the levee from leaking. The flood took us. Who stood next to the levee to defend it? And it left us no choice but to abandon our home. It was no easy decision to leave the nest behind. They lived in the nest? Okay. The Blade lineage under our mentor's guidance were all small feathers, each minor officials of their own. S-Corp sent the Chunalkan after the mentor. We have lost many fellows in the process, yet I must consider ourselves lucky. Though our forces have dwindled, we were allowed to convene under the same banner once again. One day, I would like to pen a letter under the moonlight again. Before my brush with death does memories of the past return to me. So I wield this blade to protect my fellows, to prepare a new home for us. Though the red plum blossoms wilt with time and lose their beauty, I shall bloom them nonetheless, so that this fleeting moment may be treasured. How long has it been since we have departed our nest? Though I write not under the moonlight, I had a brief moment to write with my brush. My fellows have diligently sought a new home for us and led us to the back streets of T-Corp. Yet it was already occupied by a different syndicate. It need not be said that conflict was inevitable. Something cast its shadow over the moon. They called themselves the Hyagun, dark cloud. The cloud may eclipse the moon for a brief moment indeed. But, when the wind blows and when time passes, the cloud will scatter like any other. And before the majesty of the moon, the cloud is as insignificant as a speck of dust. This cloud shall be cast from the skies like the splendid shower of plum blossom petals. It may be by my hands, our mentors, or another Salsus. Whoever it may be, the outcome is inevitable. The cloud shall scatter, and red plum blossoms shall bloom from our foes. As it all should be. So I don't like Faust, but I really like this ID. So, let's talk about it. Starting off, passive. Sanguine Plum Blossoms. On crit, inflict 1 red plum blossom, 3 times max. Red Plum Blossom is a new version of unique bleed that caps out at 10. Gain 10% chance for this unit to be critically hit if this unit is the main target. When struck by a critical hit, gain bleed equal to half of the value and take plus value times 3% damage on critical hit, and reduce value by 1 when hit. So this is the first instance of us being able to inflict a mark that increases crit chance for anybody targeting that enemy. And that's cool. Now, I don't like that the value reduces by 1 when hit rather than reduced by 1 when crit, but I guess that's for balance reasons. And it also makes crits deal a little bit more damage. At max stack, it will deal 30% more damage on crit, which is really cool. The 3 times max is fine, like, and the fact that it's on crit is a little annoying, but that's okay. Then the passive, support. When the ally first deployed in the pre-battle team setup critically hits with a slash-type skill, inflict 1 defense level down 3 times max per 1 enemy per turn. That's very specific. It's not that good of a support passive. However, it is the first support passive in the game that demands you have the first selection be a crit slash unit. And I know who they want you to use for this, but we'll get to that. She's relatively fragile. 3 to 8 speed is nice. Defense skill, redirect. 10 to 14 block. On use for every 4 poise on self, gain 1 final power, up to 3. So it can be a 10 to 17, which is actually a decent block. Blocks are still the worst defense skill. There's not really anything I can say about them. Skill 1. Slash Sloth, 3 to 9 with 3 coins. It's been a little bit since we've got a 3 coin skill 1. Moonlit Blade Dance. On use, gain 2 poise count. Coin 2, heads hit, gain 1 poise. Coin 3, on crit, inflict 1 Red Plum Blossom. Yeah, all of her skills are going to be inflicting this, by the way. She is, in fact, built around this new status effect, and I'm a little worried that her poise gain is not going to be great because of it. Skill 2, Acupuncture. Pierce Pride, 4 to 16 with 2 coins. On use, gain 2 poise count, so she's not going to be struggling with count. Both of her easy skills give 2 count, and that's good. Coin 1, on hit, gain 2 poise count, plus 30% damage on crit. Coin 2, on hit, inflict 1 bind next turn. On crit, inflict 2 Red Plum Blossom. So it looks like she's going to be getting all of her crits from Red Plum Blossom rather than poise. Now that unfortunately means she needs to have enough poise to crit to inflict it to begin with, but that's okay. This is a fine skill too. I wish it were slash, but that's okay. Skill 3, Red Plum Blossom Scatter. It's a slash gloom. 5 to 17 is okay. Deal 3% more damage for every Red Plum Blossom on the target. Sick. Clash Win. Consume half the poise count on self, then gain poise equal to the poise count consumed, up to 10. So we've got another Sinclair situation going on here. And then both coins have on crit inflict 5 Plum Blossoms. This is a very powerful skill 3 for damage, not for power. I don't like that this is one of her only ways to get poise potency, because this is the only other one, but that's okay. We have several IDs now that can give poise potency to her through support passives or just regular passives. Thanks, Dawn. Uptie 4. At 5 plus poise, coin power plus 1. Oh god, that's a 3 to 12. Acupuncture at 7 plus poise, coin power plus 1. Oh boy, that is a 4 to math. 18. That's not bad. It's pretty good, actually. And then Red Plum Blossom Scatter. Coin power plus 1 for every 7 poise count on self, up to 3. So this is going to be a 5 plus 9? That goes up to 23 if you have 21 poise potency. Okay. I guess it's possible to get there. And then this skill does not consume Red Plum Blossoms on crit. Oh, and if the target has 10 Red Plum Blossoms, each hit inflicts 1 slash fragility on crit. Oh, cool! That's a lot of effects on that skill. I like. That's a lot of damage, in fact. This gains up to 5 max power, so it can be a 19. And then the combat passive inflicts 1 Red Blossom Plum. If the target has 10 Red Plum Blossom, inflict 1 defense level down instead, up to 6 times. Okay. So that's just so that she has something to do if the target already has 10. And to be fair, 10 is a guaranteed crit, no matter who attacks. So that's pretty cool. I like this idea, actually. I think it's really interesting. I wish skill 2 was not Pierce, because I think Pierce and Slash are not shared weaknesses, unfortunately.
얼마나 자객을 보내던 결국 내게는 반성 앞에 한수일 뿐이야. 아직 나의 한수는 끝나지 않았는데.
I have made my move. Oh, so you have. An old man garbed in a glistening white doppo robe sat opposite the child, who wore a hat woven from horsehair and bamboo. The furnace was dark and unlit. The room was freezing. Two sat without even lighting a candle, the moonlight their only source of illumination. Yet the moon has fully waxed and bright. Bright enough to cast its cold light upon the black and white stones on the board. The second state councilor and his bodyguard were having a silent discussion via the game of Baduk. Apologies, young man. I was absorbed in thought. It is quite all right. We have not set a time limit for this game. The old man gently chuckled. He sat there for a moment, toying with the black stones in the bowl. Mind me not, second state councilor. I am but a student in this match. It would be unbecoming of me to bid you hurry. Yet you are quite impatient now, no? Clack. The sound of smooth pebbles grinding against each other ceased. Has it been 7 winters already? Yes. I have been your protector for 7 years and 4 months, second state councilor. Time passes fast. May I ask for your opinion? I am certain that your perspective may vary from mine. I was raised in affluence, yet you have clawed your way up from the bottom. The child began fiddling with the stones again, briefly absorbed in thought. Then he answers with a gentle voice. The path you walk is a dark and arduous one. But I believe that you walk that path with unyielding tenacity for the good of this nest and its feathers. The old man knitted his brows. Perhaps the child's answer wasn't what he was looking for. You have not once shared your opinion with me, ever since you became my protector. I suppose that is why I am content with you by my side. I apologize. My response must not have been to your satisfaction. Haha, there is no need for apologies. You had the potential to become a blade of clouds, yet you served the third state councilor instead. Is that not the title all those who walk the path of the blade and S-Corp seek? To be recognized as one of the very best in the nest? Not even you would jest that you have never sought one such privilege. I am your blade to wield, second state councilor. You were the one who chose me. The child responds immediately and indifferently. A blade follows the hand that wields it, and you are that hand, second state councilor. Ha! This is not a move one makes without nary a thought, young man. I saw no reason for hesitation. The old man, the second state councilor, smiled, but there was a tinge of woe in his eyes. If that is your answer, then I have something to ask of you, though I hardly deserve to. I will do as you command. Next week, I plan to present this appeal. May I ask you to protect me until then? I failed to see your purpose in asking me to do the duties that I am already intent on performing. You seek to dismiss me after this. Ha ha ha! I see that your talent and jests have grown since we first met. Written in this appeal are the hideous conspiracies, heinous deeds, and studies that have been conducted in secret. Should the contents of my appeal be made public, it will shake S-Corp to its roots. That is the strength this appeal carries, and such revelatory strength begets those that seek to destroy it. Assassins. Be my blade so that I may see this path to its end. That is my request. It shall be done. The child replied without a moment of hesitation. He had no reason to. Because he never questioned the fact that it was his purpose to protect the second state councilor. And that is why the child could not even imagine that he would ever fail. The old man perished despite the child's vow. The child's skills with the blade were unparalleled, yet there was only so much that a single person could manage. The powers that be of S-Corp held resources and ploys that no single human could possibly withstand. No one in S-Corp quite knew who murdered the old man or how he was murdered. He was killed in a manner that could never be traced. But the child knew. It was the old man's political enemy, the third state councilor's doing. It is before sunbreak. Not a soul stirs awake in this hour. There was another old man sleeping, yet soon awakened by a noise from outside his window. What? Is there anyone out there? The old man peeked open the sliding paper door to his room. Huh? And came face to face with the child. It was you. How are you still alive? How did you even get in? The child was surrounded by corpses of decapitated men. He glared at the third state councilor with the look of a fiend. There was naught but the silence of dead men who were once his bodyguards. If you cut me down, it shall not end with your neck. Your entire family, your entire bloodline shall be purged. The royal court will send the Chinokan after you. You must know how terribly tenacious they are. They will not let the borders of a nest stop them. S-Corp, a wing that places heavy emphasis on tradition and hierarchies, oft sends the Chinokan after contractors who have fled or violated a taboo. Within S-Corp, the fixers might as well be called Chinokan. And the Chinokan sent by the royal court are known to be like the taboo hunters of other wings. They are deadlier and more tenacious than any pursuers. I will not cut you down. Your death will change nothing. The child's voice is terrifyingly cold and collected. Let this be a warning still. A warning that, if I ever find anyone who is capable of tearing these putrid roots from the ground, I will return. A warning that I can easily separate your pathetic head from your body as a blade cuts through weed. What? With that, the child disappeared into the early morning wind. Men, find the best Chinokan in the nest now. Arrest anyone who ever had ties to that man. I want them hung before me. The child left the third state councilor's echoing bellows behind and resolutely made his way to the borders of S-Corp. His persecuted fellows who were barely maintaining their status as feathers at S-Corp. Those who wielded their blades under the banner of the Blade lineage. He would one day return to this place with them by his side. So I'm going to talk about this before I complain about it. First off, average HP, average speed, good defense level, which is typical of Merceau, actually. Skill 1. No. Passive. In Memoriam, when 3 or more other Blade lineage allies are defeated, when gaining poise potency or count with this unit's own skills and coin effects, gain 1 more of each. When 5 or more other Blade lineage allies are defeated, gain 2 more of each instead. And combat start, apply Swordplay of the Homeland buff on self. I would like to point out that this does not have a sin requirement. Okay. Swordplay of the Homeland, when at 5 plus poise, upon skill use, skill 1 and skill 2 gain coin power plus 3 divided by the number of coins, minimum 1, and deal plus 30 divided by the number of coins % damage on critical hit. So basically what this says is, if there are 3 coins, you gain 1 coin power. If there's 1 coin, you gain 3. And I believe if you have 2 coins, you still gain 1, because it always rounds down. When at 7 plus poise, upon skill use, skill 3 deals plus 30% more damage and deals 50% more damage on a crit. Okay, why is all of this free? I guess because it revolves around allies dying. This effect is just given to him, though. And, yeah. Okay, his actual passive, 3 Pride Resonance. In this encounter, when this unit takes damage that brings their HP down to 0, nullify that damage, then this unit's HP cannot drop below 1 for the turn, once per encounter. So he has Unrelenting. Bamboo-Headed Kim did have that in Ruina, I guess. And then, when this unit gains Poise Potency or Count with its own skill or coin effects, give 1 Poise Potency and plus 1 Poise Count to 2 other Blade Lineage allies with no Poise or with the least Poise. If there are 6 or more Blade Lineage allies participating in this encounter, give 2 Poise Potency and plus 2 Poise Count instead. That is a lot of text. It should be noted that every single Blade Lineage ID has a Pride skill. That's all you need to know. And then support passive, 5 Pride owned combat start, one ally with the most poise deals plus 15% damage on crit. Compare that to the amount of text here. There's a lot of text here, and it's all very good effects. As you can see, you want to use him in a full team of Blade Lineage. I am not convinced that he can be used outside of at least half your team being Blade Lineage because of his Sin affinities. But, first off, we'll do the defense skill last because it has room below it. Skill 1, Draw of the Sword, +1 power in a clash from offense level. Slash Pride, 3 to 11 with 2 coins. Combat start, apply 1 Sword of the Homeland Rending to highest absolute resonance other Blade Lineage allies in ascending order of speeds, slowest to fastest, 2 times max. This is skill 1, gains final power by the effect's count. It only gives 1, thankfully. Now, you can do this twice. So they can gain 2 final power on skill 1, which is very significant. On use, gain 2 poise count. Both hits have on hit gain 1 poise. So this is very good skill 1, for obvious reasons. Especially since if you're at 5 poise, it just gets a coin power, so 3 to 13 from his passive. Acupuncture is a slash pride. You read that correctly. That is a pride skill again. 3 to 18 with 3 coins, which is a little bit. Combat start, apply 1 Sword of the Homeland Penetrating to highest absolute resonance other Blade Lineage allies in ascending order of speed, slowest to fastest, 2 times max. This is just the same thing, but for skill 2. On use, gain 2 poise count. Clash win, gain 1 slash power up next turn. Coin 1, on hit, gain 3 poise. Coin 3, deals 40% more damage on crit. This skill is insanely strong. This is a better... Well, it's not a better leap, because leap inflicts slash fragility. But you can run these IDs together. There's nothing stopping you from doing that. And skill 3, Slash Wrath, 20 to 12. It is a negative coin skill. This is not a negative coin ID. This is very much a positive coin ID. You want to be at 45 sanity because you want to lose a clash with this. On use, gains 3 aggro to the skill slot next turn. On use, until this skill ends, this unit cannot be staggered from taking damage. Already insane. Though granted, I don't know what this means, actually, because if you lose the clash, you're not taking damage until after the skill, and you'll see. Clash win, gain 5 poise. Clash lose, after getting hit, use To Claim Their Bones skill. On crit, deal plus 2% more damage on crit for every poise potency on self, up to 50%, that caps out at 25 poise. Plus 15% damage on crit, deal 0.5% more damage per 1% missing HP on self, up to 25%. This deals a lot of damage. And has no effects on coin, somehow. Okay. But this is only half the skill. To Claim Their Bones is a counter, for the record. At least I think so. I think that's how it works. It is a slash pride, 4 to 16 with 4 coins. At 10 plus poise, attack weight plus 1. On use, until the skill ends, this unit cannot be staggered from taking damage. On use, deal 2% more damage on crit for every poise potency on self, up to 50%, plus 20% damage on crit, that's on every coin, and deal 0.5% more damage for every 1% missing HP on self, max 25%, and coin 4, on hit, inflicts 3 bleed and 5 paralyze next turn. This skill 3 is crazy, because you want to lose your clash, but it min rolls 12, so it's not exactly easy. He has a defense skill. It's an 8 to 18 slash NV counter with 1 coin. On use, gain 1 slash power up next turn, 1 time max, and on hit, gain 2 poise. This counter is actually pretty good. I'll be real with you. This is a really good counter. But this counter, this ID has a little bit of text on it. Upside 4. Oh good, at 5 plus poise, coin power plus 1. Because he didn't already get that from his support passive. So this can be a 3 to 15 at max. thanks to Swordplay of Homeland. If there are 6 or more Blade lineage identities in the encounter, apply 2 of Sword of the Homeland rending instead. Oh, good. Then Acupuncture. At 7+ poise, coin power +1. Great. So what? This can gain 2 coin power? So it can roll 24. Awesome. Apply 2 instead, yep. And then we get an extra 20% damage on crit. Yield my flesh 3% more damage instead of 2%, and it caps at 75%. 30% damage on crit instead of 15. And this doesn't change. The normal counter deals half a percentage of damage for every 1% missing HP on self, up to 25%. Cool. To claim their bones... To claim their bones gains a coin power. Just straight up. So this max rolls 20. After everything's said and done. For every 7 poise on self. Attack weight +1, up to 2. So this could be a 3 target. 10% more damage on crit. If this skill targets only a single enemy, deal 100% more damage, and focused encounters a single part. So you almost don't want to have the poise in that case. 100% more damage is crazy. Now that being said, attack weight 3 does not necessarily target more than one enemy. If there's only like 1 part targetable and there's only 1 enemy in the fight, this will always only hit 1 person. And that's crazy. Where is the effects change? Combat start, apply Swordplay of the Homeland buff to all other Blade lineage allies. So my main gripe with this ID is the Sin spread. 5 Pride, 1 Wrath. By default, technically the Wrath skill can be Pride too. So in theory, his entire kit is Pride except for his counter, which is Envy. I was really hoping that we would never get an ID that had more than a 50-50 split on their main skill lineup. The last 2 IDs that we got that had multiple skills of the same condition always had them on skills 2 and 3, so that you always had 3 of one Sin Affinity and 3 of another. This one is 5 of one Sin Affinity and 1 of the other, but it doesn't really count as 1 anyways, because if you use it properly, it's gonna be Pride anyways. I don't know how to feel about this, honestly. Now this ID is very powerful, obviously, but it seems like he's not going to be that useful outside of Blade lineage, because while this does fuel regret, there are like no ego that need this combination. Pride Wrath, in general, is very underutilized. I think it's just regret. Wishing Cairn, no, that doesn't even need, no, that does need Wrath, it needs 2 Wrath. So Wishing Cairn on Dawn, 2 of the 4th match Flames, and those are the only things that come to mind right now. I'm sure there's another one that I'm forgetting, but I don't care. Whatever it is, it's probably not good. No, I know what it is. It's, Holiday Otis, which is very strange. Yeah, that's basically all I had to say. Does this have anything? If a Blade lineage ally is defeated, lose 10 regardless of the ally's level. So technically it has a little bit extra sanity effects. I'm glad that they're putting stuff here. But it's not really something that you're going to want to manage. And here we are, all of Blade lineage. Look at them. You can't even see Merceau's face. He is just sad. I like Don's pose, actually. This is cool, because this is technically the first complete faction that we have, actually. I wonder if... I do not have a good starting lineup of skills, unfortunately, but that's okay, right? Oh, you are just terrible, like usual. I forget that Otis is just bad, isn't she? How did I get 5 poise? Already? This is gonna take a while, by the way, because that sound is so cool. I really love the new Faust. Oh, you won? Wait, that's not supposed to happen. Okay, that's a lot of, that's a lot of shit. A lot of pride. I don't know why I called it shit. It's not what it is. Perhaps I will save that for later. Why is it? He's just not clashing with anything. There's 6 pride absolute. That's called poise. And it's also called giving all of your allies swordplay of the homeland, which is, kind of good. Unfortunately, it doesn't do anything to skill 3. Okay. Merceau just decapitates a man. That's normal, I suppose. It goes by absolute resonance, by the way, which is why this turn still works, because I got 3. Yeah, no, the strat is literally just get pride absolute resonance. This is most likely just not the best team for pride absolute resonance. You want stuff like Ahab, Ishmael, and Pequod Heathcliff. And Bullet Otis, because she also has 3 pride skills, doesn't she? But yeah, all of the pride stuff is what you're going for here, easily. I want to be able to clash lose with to claim their bones at least once. Okay, it's going up against a guy that will clash with him. Good. Favored? I mean, I don't want him to win. I guess it's possible I lose, though. We'll see. We'll see. If I can't get it off of this strike, I'll try to, like, save one and try to get it later, because I do want to see it at least once. That counter is very cool. So look at this flank thrust. Yisang has so much poise. He's so good. Like, unironically, just amazing. It'd probably be better to test stuff out against Shmi, wouldn't it? Dang it. That's unfortunate. Oh well. That skill is so underwhelming when it doesn't work properly. I'm sorry, did her skill 1 just roll a 17? That's, illegal, actually, I think, in a few states. That's just kill this wave, honestly. Who cares? Don Quixote being really good. Look at how much poise we have. I just realized. That's a lot. It's just unfortunate that Merceau is not going to have enough sanity to guarantee a 12 on his skill 3. Does he have a skill 3? He does. Dominate? God dang it. How do I make this not dominating in a clash? That's what I want to know. I'm still going to use it. Here. He's getting another one next turn. It would be very funny if I just countered with everybody else. I could get his sanity up. Though I think somebody dies if I do that, so let's not. I don't know, I kinda really... It's like, that feeling where these IDs are deliberately designed to work together. Well, the new ones are anyways. The old ones are whatever. Acupuncture just rolled a 21. Otis still lost her clash. Are you kidding me? So why are you like this, Otis? Oh my. That was a skill. Also, yeah, new Merceau kind of just makes the old poise IDs usable, by the way. Here, let's just start fishing for a... to claim their bones for now, because I really want to see it. I don't care if people die. They're not even taking that much damage, either. There's no way it's gonna work. They're at low sanity right now. And there's no way for me to fix that, either. And I really hope that wasn't the guy Merceau was going to clash with. Oh, it was. Okay, that's fine. I do not know when it's practical to clash lose with that skill, honestly. So let's just pretend it doesn't exist for the time being and just win the fight. How about? Because otherwise we're going to be here forever. You will get to see it in all its glory eventually. I will use it during the new content, so you'll see it then. Don had 50 boys. Okay. Very cool. Good god. Striker's stance rolling in 19 is so cursed. It shouldn't be, but it's super cursed. Oh, they all seem pretty good to me. I'll be real. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Greg time. Okay, so Greg... Oh, this is a terrible idea. Thanks. I don't know why I brought Hung Lu. He's not good. Like, anymore. Unfortunately. I wish he was still good, but he's just kind of not. He does have a sloth defense skill, though. Unfortunately, base Hung Lu has a better sloth defense skill, so I'll probably just use him. Epic. These enemies do resist oh my god. Okay. He just kicks. I like his stance, by the way. He's very neat. I didn't equip any ego, I just realized. That's fine. You're not clashing, so I'm not gonna bother. Why does this have a better clash rate? It's weird. I think Hung Lu is probably just gonna die. What in the coin flip animation? Okay. Did you just dome a dude with a bottle of sake? I don't know if I caught that properly. It looked like that's what happened. I haven't looked at the animations super closely. I'm assuming they're all very good, because they typically are. Ooh, hold on. This is a chance, so I'm gonna take it, because it's only favored. That guy's very dead eventually. Not yet, but very dead eventually. Dang it! Or so you're supposed to lose the clash, you fool. I don't know, they're all really fun ideas. Greg maybe needs a bit more support. We need more bleed in this game, honestly. We don't have very much of it, just in general. Yeah, just go for it. Okay. How does you have Swordblade of the Homeland anyways? Okay. I see you, girl. You get him. He is already getting guaranteed crits. Only favored. I don't expect it to... Wait, how is it favored? I think I'm guaranteed to win, because I get +1 in a clash, don't I? How do I lose this clash? Ah, who cares? There's probably some effect that I'm missing. It didn't matter. I rolled it. He rolled 2 tails, so it wasn't gonna happen. I don't know what I was missing. Oh, I wasn't at max sanity. That doesn't matter for that skill. Long. I love guaranteed crits, don't you? Maybe you don't need to use Merceau with the rest of Blade Lineage. Though he is certainly the best there. I'm not gonna deny that. I kind of picked this fight because I feel like I have the best chance of losing a clash with that skill if I'm fighting Shmi. Because Shmi does that. She rolls a 17 on one of her skills, which is definitely high enough. Oh god, I'm not going to get in a lot of sleep tonight because I got to edit this video before I go to bed. That's okay. Literally doesn't matter. Dies to the first hit. Alright, hello Shmi. I do not have my skill 3, that's very disappointing. But okay, I'll have it next turn. Hopefully Merceau is clashing with Shmi. I always pronounce her name like that because it's very funny. It does like no damage. It's okay, it looks cool. Honglu is losing all of his clashes because he is Honglu. Yeah, Kurokuma Honglu kind of sucks in the story now. I don't know why that is. It's just because his clash power is super low. It's what, 11, 13, 10? Or something? No, 11, 13, 11. I don't know why I said 10. Where's my skill? Bruh. Fine, we're going deep into skill 1 territory right now. Just to see what happens. Faust is still rolling 16. I mean... Faust skill 1 is so brutal. It might be really good, honestly. That's what it feels like. Get a crit. No, you didn't get a crit. I need you to get a crit so you gain sanity. There you go. I need Shmi to be on my sanity. Ryoshu is almost dead. That's not a clash against Shmi. When everybody else is dead, I'll actually be able to do it. Honglu winning a clash? In what universe? Okay. She actually might just die to this. No, she is just gonna die. I'm never gonna get this skill off, man. Alright, fine. Okay, you really didn't deserve that kill. Oh well. I just realized I never equipped Ego on anybody. Actually. Did so much damage, Faust. Jeez. She is a damage dealer, to be fair, though. Okay. Okay. I mean, that's it for now. The IDs all seem very cool. Greg's is definitely the least powerful one, but that's just because it's bleed-centric. I'm still a little disappointed in the new Merceau being almost all pride. That's the really only bad thing I can say about him. He's broken. He's a top 5 ID contender, definitely. Especially if you use him in a poise team. I don't know, what would a poise team not all Blade lineage look like? Who cares? New Faust is very good. I don't think she's necessarily S tier. A tier definitely, though. In competition for a better Slash Faust. She has the very funny setup. You can use her with Sun Shower. And then New Dawn is a cool support. I like her a lot. We do need more Blade lineage. No, we don't. We need more Poise supports. We don't have really any. We have Blade Lineage Isang and now Blade Lineage Dawn, and that's really all the Poise support you get. And then New Greg, weak. Not weak, but underwhelming compared to the rest, but only because his faction isn't complete yet. I'll be there for the Heathcliff and Ishmael Kurokuma IDs whenever they decide to drop those, because those are the last 2 from the Mirror World. This is the most populated Mirror World. 10 out of 12 sinners have an ID from it. But yeah, I guess that's all I gotta say about them. If you're still here, I will be streaming immediately after this ends. So I hope to see you there. And I hope that you have a good rest of your day regardless. Bye!